Scrappin with Sheri and project recipe number 4 in our book. Now, several of you have contacted me and asked about this 52 scrapbooking project recipes. I still have a few of these books left, so if you will email me with your shipping address, I can get the exact shipping cost and let you know how much that will be before I send them out to you. So a few of those left if you're interested in that. Now, I have been so excited about using this particular paper pack. This Cookie Exchange collection was a bonus buy with Creative Memories, I think in October or November of 2024. And I immediately jumped on it because my mother loves to bake cookies, but she also has tried to get my little granddaughter into baking cookies. Now, these are not real cookies. This is a little cooking set that my mother gave her for her birthday. And normally I would not do a 2-page spread for just a few pictures, but this is just a special time with the two of them in the midst of a birthday party. And I've got this cute paper, so we've got to use it. So the instructions tell us that we're going to use 2 sheets of designer paper for the base. Now, I've kind of glanced through this. There is so much pretty paper in here. It's ridiculous. Now, I'm not necessarily going to be focusing on the Christmassy part of this, so that might make a good base. This I absolutely love because it pulls out a little bit of a teal that's in her little dress she was wearing. So that's a very strong possibility. And this is also really pretty. But let's look at where our pictures are going to go because, you know, my pictures are matted with white. So I'm seeing my pictures are going to hang off the colors. They might look better on this darker color than the lighter color. Let's see what I'm losing on the back of that. Just some stars. So I'm going to use this for my background paper. That's going to be gorgeous. And then let's look at our directions over here because it's going to tell us what other kinds of paper we need to use. Now, we need a designer paper, and we can see we're going to use both sides of that. And they're going to be here and here. So I need something that I really like both sides of. This, I like the back side of this, but this is not necessarily going to be great cut in stripes. So let's throw that out for now. I did notice this as we were going through, and I think that is adorable. This being light background will show up good on that. The red will show up nicely on that. So we're going to use this as our designer paper number 1. That'll be our blue. We also need something that we are going to make borders with and a couple of photo mats. So let's look at what we want to use for that. That's going to be our green papers. And if I pull this out, this pulls a little more of the teal, which I'm looking at. I do like both sides of this. Are we going to use a reverse on it? Possibly, possibly not, because I have something in mind. And then we need something else that we are going to use for our photo mats here and here. And I was really thinking that I like this brownish color. So let's put them all together and see what we've got going on. We like our fronts. We like our backs. This would make a great matting paper because it will, the white mattings will show up really good on that. So it'll be double matted. Let's go with this. Let me move these out of the way. Now this particular collection came with the papers. It came with stickers, embellishments, and in my mind, I'm already thinking instead of punching a border along the bottom, like it shows punching here, I might just want to pull out this border, or let's see if we've got a sticker border that we might want to use. Oh, yeah. I love this right here. We're not actually baking cookies in this picture, but I think that'll be perfect. So, I've got plenty of fun things to use because I've got this whole collection still intact. So, we know these are our backgrounds. Let's go ahead and do our cutting. And what I was looking at was to make this, those pieces right there. And I have to decide if I want my stripes to go up and down, or if I want them to go up and down, or if I want them to go sideways. I think on this, I'm going to be okay for them to go up and down. So we're going to cut this as is. The back side doesn't matter directionally. And I think we're going to see some really great contrast. I'm looking forward to this. So we need a 3-inch. Then we need a 1-inch. And y'all, I flip back and forth because I really like cutting 1 inches over on my right side instead. And then it tells us we need a 6-inch and a 2-inch. Well, we're using the whole paper. So rather than pulling the arm out to do the 6-inch, I'll just go ahead and do the 2-inch here. And then I know I've got 6 left over. Now, one thing I should have done initially, which would have saved me about a minute, is this part is not used, and that's a 1-inch. If I had cut that off first, I would have had a 1-inch to use for a border down the road. As it stands, I didn't do that initially, so I'm just going to cut all these off 1 inch, which gives us our 11-inch length on these. I just get so excited sometimes I forget to look at what makes the most sense, and it would have made the most sense, but I didn't do it. Y'all remind me now. It's just paper. It's okay. So we've got all of those cut. I'm going to put those over here with my background. Now, this is the paper that I was going to use for this part right here. I have a feeling that the bulk of this is going to be using this side just to bring in a little more of that teal. But just in case, I'm not going to do a punch because I'm going to do stickers for that border. So just in case, I'm going to turn this way so I have a cross section of the stripes if I decide to use the stripes. And that's a 1 1/4 by 12. So I'm just going to cut a 1 1/4 and a 1 1/4. We may use them this direction, or we may use them on the teal side. Either way is fine. And then I do know that matting, I'm going to be using this side rather than the striped busy side. And this one, they've got their mats at 6.5 by 4.5. I'm going to go ahead and cut them that large just because there's not a lot going on this page. Normally, I would not cut my mats quite that large. So we've got our 6.5, and we're going 4.5 and 4.5. Now, our last piece of paper is strictly for matting. I'm not going to be using the reverse on that unless I need some filler. But I'm going to go ahead and cut these. The first ones are going to be a 4.5 by 4.5 square. Now, look, we've got all this shaded part that we're not going to use here. So, as I cut, I'm going to try to leave that L shape intact. So a 4.5 times 2 would take me down to about the 9. I'm going to flip this over and cut this off at the 9-inch here. Having a hard time getting that straight. Okay, I'm going to go right there and cut that off. This is going to give me my 2 4.5-inch pieces. And then we've got a 6.5 by 4.5 here. So I'm going to take that out to the 6.5-inch mark. And again, I'm going to go down till I get to about the 9. Now, I can't see my 9 over here, but there is a 9 here. And I only know that it's 6.5 by 9 because 4.5 plus 4.5 equals 9. And then, yeah, I know I'm just twisting this and turning it all over the place. I'm probably really confusing y'all good. I'm just going to cut this down to that line. And I've managed to leave this intact, which will make a good border or even the side of another page down the road. And then I just need to cut these in half at 4.5. I know y'all don't believe it, but I think I got all my measurements right today. So I'm going back to the flip side over here just to see what I've got. I'm going to go ahead and lay my two backgrounds out. And this one is a little heavier on design on the top. So I think I'm going to lay it that way. Let's see. I'm looking because I'm going to see how much we're covering up here. I might want to put the heavier designs on the sides because a little bit more will show right there on that side, maybe. It's not going to make a big difference overall. It's really okay either way. So let's lay our back parts down, the blue parts. So we've got this, and let's see. We've got this one with a skinny one, and this one with a fatter one. And one of those needs to be reversed. So let's look at what we like for reverse. That's kind of pretty, but I don't think I want the red necessarily to be the biggest part of it. I want to pull out more of the teal colors. So I'm going to go with my reverse this way. And on our sketch, it shows them evenly spaced top to bottom. So I'm just kind of flipping those out. We've got our border strip that's going to go along the bottom. And remember, we didn't punch a border because we're going to use our sticker border for that. And then we've got, let's see, this and this. One of these. And this does have some very faint writing on it. I didn't worry much about direction on that because most of it's going to be covered with a photo anyway. But there is some very faint writing on there. And just look how pretty that is and how quickly that's coming together. All right, let's go ahead and stick all the moving parts down first. I'm going to grab my regular tape runner for that. Man, this is cute. I knew from the get-go I was going to love this paper. I was really sad, actually, when it came out because not long before it came out, I had done a couple of pages with my mom actually baking cookies with my granddaughter. And they were the cutest pictures. We loved them. Mainly because when it was all done, we just put my granddaughter up on the table where the cookies were cooling and we just let her eat. And she's really good about stopping, but we were beginning to wonder at what point she would stop that day. I think she finally ate 7 cookies. And, you know, we grandmothers can do that. But it's nothing for her to start eating a cookie and then stop in the middle of eating it because she's all done. That just shocks me. I don't understand that mentality, but I'm real proud she can do that. Y'all, I think this is so pretty. I could have done this stripe on here, and had we really been cooking Christmas cookies, I probably would have kept more of the red instead. But because her little dress has this teal color in it, the baking stuff does have some red, but I really want to focus on the fact that it was her birthday party and not necessarily a Christmas cookie event. Now, if you'll notice, when I do most of my pages, I tend to put one page completely together first, and then I do a lot of lining up off of that page. You may do yours a little bit differently, and that's fine, but that's just how I seem to work. I like to see one totally done. I am a progress person. I love to see the progress made. And I'm looking at the sketch. They actually have this one up a little bit higher. I really like my pictures to be closer together. And I like a little bit of this color showing here. I love all this layering on this. I think this is probably my favorite sketch so far. Of course, we got a long way to go. But I do love all the layered looks on this, all the different patterns. You could always do your mats with cardstock too if you don't like the patterny mats, but this brown actually really lent itself well to being a matting paper. It's just a little something, but not too much. I feel the same way about that teal color. It's a good matting paper without really taking anything away from the photos. If you're real picky about getting things exactly right, this would be a good place to use your 13-inch mat. You can see my cuts are just a touch off right there because one is just a tiny bit smaller than the other. But when that's in my album, you're not going to be able to see that. Let's go ahead and put this photo mat on. And then I'm going to slide these opposite to try to line these up a little more closely. Here again, you could do this with your zero centering ruler. You could do this a lot of different ways. For me, it's just easier to slide my paper over and work at it that way. Is it going to be exactly? Probably not. Am I going to care? Probably not. And I do want these side pieces the same. So I am looking at making that side area lined up. All right. So we've got all of our decoration, basically, our mats laid down. Let's go ahead and lay out the pictures. Now, in developing the pictures, I was looking at the fact that I needed some little 4x4s. I hate that my granddaughter's face wasn't showing so much, but look how much fun my mom was having with this. So I think that's pretty cute. Not like we never see my granddaughter's face. Got her with her big old oven mitt on. And trying to get her little cookies out of the container with that oven mitt. And then I'm going to add this one to the side over here. Really because, I don't know, I just like it over here. And I think that this would be a good spot for doing some decoration and journaling. I didn't have any more pictures of this that I wanted to use. So, even going ahead and putting that extra mat on there, it'll give me some variety as far as decorating or journaling. Now, if I had thought about it, I could have flipped the back side of this and used it instead, but it wasn't really a Christmas cookie thing, so I'm okay with that. That's one thing that I'm kind of sad about in this collection is that it didn't come with mats, because those mats make such great titles. Our mat packs are fantastic for matting your photos. And here you could have pulled mats rather than cutting apart a sheet of paper. But they also have some really fun, larger size titles on them. And when you just really need to fill up your page, it's a great way to go. Now, I do like the fact that these are done in white, even though I did go back and mat them on the brown too. Just gives me a double matted look, which is beautiful to me. Would take a lot more time if I was actually double matting all those pictures, but I didn't have to do that. Now, when we look at our sketch, see, they didn't even use a photo here. They used a giant embellishment. So you've got options as far as that's concerned. They've added these borders on the bottom with a little embellishment here and there, but not a lot. One thing I've seen recently is several of you have said, I like the fact that you don't make your own embellishments. You use a lot of paper. I do use a lot of paper, and I don't try to force embellishments when they're not necessary. But you know me, I really want the pictures to be the forefront. Now, I could have put that on foam squares. I didn't feel like that was necessary. And this brings in all the little baking-y stuff. I'll probably be sad I've already used these when I get to where we actually bake some cookies at some point in time. But I've got more. I do like all the little things here. So cute. I went off the edge just a touch right here, so I'm just going to chop that with my scissors. Nobody will ever know except those of you who watch the videos. And let's go back and look at what we've got as far as the embellishments and see what we want to use. This is cute. This one cute cookie. That's adorable. The most delicious time of the year. That's kind of fun. Making a mess, not really. Traditions is nice because that's something that my mom likes to do with her. Family is good. We could do that over here. That Baked with Love I might use, but I want to see what else we've got in these embellishments as well. Favorite recipe, that wouldn't work. The Baking Crew, now that's cute. Or Sweet Memories. Oh, okay, Sweet Memories is going to be. I'm just going to go ahead and pull all this stuff out. I don't keep all these things in packages. Once I've opened these embellishment packs, I'll show you what I do with them. I hate having to go back through and pull all those out every single time. I tend to keep my sticker package, and I will slide stickers, embellishments, everything into this package. And then slide them into the paper pack so all of it stays together. And that's how I keep up with most of my stuff. All right. We've looked at these. Have we looked at these yet? An oven mitt would be really cute here. No oven mitt. My granddaughter does love a good rolling pin. There is a rolling pin on there. Her mommy lets her keep one at home that she calls hers. We're not really baking cookies, so I'm not going to use that. Don't really need the recipe cards. These are not double-sided. But this is really cute. And I'm looking for something that will take up some space over here, because I'm going to do a little journaling, but not tons. So we've got the Sweet Memories. The rolling pin will have to go on. There is no oven mitt. I'm a little bit sad about that, but it's okay. And I think that's what we're going to use. And then I'll do some journaling here. So let's go ahead and look at the embellishments, where we're going to place those and how we're going to do it. I'm going to pull out my silicone mat. Just slide these up a little bit. And I'm going to get my anti-stick powder tool out because these are all stickers right here. And I want to use foam squares with them. All right, so we've got the anti-stick taken care of. Let's just stick these on. Family. We could put that in several different places. These are two of her great-grandmothers here. So if I put this here, it kind of takes care of the two great-grandmothers in the background and the foreground. Let's use family there. This one cute cookie. Obviously, that's got to go with her. And I'll put it right. I was going to put it there, but it kind of detracts from my daddy's head right there. So I think I'll go down right here with it. And because of the way the pages run, it kind of gives you the feeling cute cookies right across the middle here. And I'm going to put a couple of these smaller foam squares on this rolling pin. And add it right down here at the bottom. Because I've got foam squares, I can add a little journaling box underneath here, and that will stand up. This is standing up, so my journaling box can kind of go underneath that. I'm going to add this up just a little bit, so these little tag points will show. If I have them down here, they don't stand out nearly as much. And then I'm going to use a couple of foam squares. Actually, I could use one foam square right in the middle of Sweet Memories. So, y'all, what do you think? I think this page is absolutely adorable. This is the first page I've made in a long time, it seems like, where I've used one whole collection from start to finish. We were very true to the recipe this time. We did almost every cut that they suggested except the borders, because we used sticker borders instead. But this is an adorable page. I love to say it was made very quickly, but, you know, it takes some time. But so very cute. All I have to do is add my journaling, and we will be finished with this one. So that is your project recipe number 4 in your sketchbook. It is page 12 if you're trying to keep up with what page we're on. And until I see you next time, happy scrapping.